If people don't feel your words, they will never follow your voice. This is the truth that can change your entire communication philosophy. Most people speak just to be heard, but real leaders speak so that they are remembered. The difference is not in the strength or force of the voice, but in the accuracy, clarity, power, and timing of the word. If your voice is not valued, then your thoughts, your ideas have no meaning. If your words do not carry weight, then even your presence will not change anyone's path. This audiobook is for you, which will help you become that voice that garners respect even without shouting. It does not require big words, just need to speak forcefully. You need to speak better, not more. In this chapter-by-chapter guide, you will learn how to speak in a way that people listen, understand, and follow in everyday conversations, in stressful moments, and in leadership opportunities. This is for those who want to become a leader, not just for tomorrow, but for today. Because if your words don't have the power of leadership, then nothing has. And this journey begins here. Chapter 1. Silence is power. In life, not speaking is also a power. But most of us have never learnt this. Whenever there is a conversation going on, be it an office meeting, a family dinner, or a group chat of friends in college, we think that we should say something, speak something so that people notice us, take us seriously. But those who become true leaders first learn to listen. Keeping quiet is an art, and the person who grasps this art never gets lost in the crowd. Imagine when a person comes into a room and sits quietly in a corner. But there is a pause in his eyes, a silence that does not scare but attracts. People pay attention, a silence that has confidence. Most people open their mouths to say something, but leaders speak when they really have to say something. Even their silence gives a message. I am listening and I am understanding. In our Indian society, where everyone wants to get their point across by shouting, be it a news anchor or an expert from WhatsApp University, a calm but strong person automatically attracts everyone's attention. See for yourself, the boss in the office whose eyes are watching everything, but he speaks less. His every word has value. There is a mystery in his silence, and people try to understand him. Leadership begins when you stop reacting to everything. There is no need to react to every trigger. Sometimes stopping, watching, and feeling gives more depth. It makes you strong internally. You start looking different from every person who just talks. Silence becomes strength when there is understanding, control, and intentional thinking behind it. Our country also teaches the same. The old saints, yogis, and gurus all remained silent and spoke only when necessary. Even today, people read each and every word of theirs in books because there was experience in their silence. So the next time you are in a meeting, debate, or conversation, don't forcefully say anything. First see, feel, and then when you speak, do so with a reason. This is the power of silence that transforms an ordinary person into a leader. Chapter 2. Stop talking, start leading. Many times we feel that if we give our opinion on everything and answer every question, people will consider us smart. But in reality, the value of the words of a person who speaks all the time gradually decreases. A leader is not the one who speaks the most. A leader is the one who says the right thing at the right time and then stands behind it. Every time you say something without thinking, you are making yourself light. Think how many times it has happened that you said something and regretted it later. I should have kept quiet. That heaviness, that regret which settles in the heart. This is the first sign of leadership. Responsibility for your words. Whatever comes out of the mouth should come after thinking, and there should be a direction in it. We often hear this in Indian houses. Children, keep quiet, let the elders speak. But the truth is that sometimes if those children have the right thinking, then their silence also seems bigger than the elders. In college, when one person is busy making fun of everyone and talking nonsense, and the other is just observing everything peacefully, then life later makes that other person a leader. Why? Because he learned a lot without speaking. He felt a lot. And when the time came to speak, he shook people. Speaking is easy, but creating an impact is difficult. So whenever you speak, there should be an intention in your words, a direction, a purpose. If your intention is just to show yourself better, then people will not listen. But if you are speaking with the intention of explaining, connecting, or showing the way to someone, then people will automatically stop and listen to you. In today's life, where everyone is trying to show in Instagram Reels how much he can speak, how funny he is, how sharp he is, at the same time, a real leader is the one who speaks deeply. He creates an impact with his words and establishes his presence without making noise. Speaking too much is a sign of any insecurity. When a person is unsharp from within, only then he expresses himself more. But when you are rooted in your confidence, then you do not feel the need to explain more than necessary. Then your eyes, your body language, and your pause automatically tell that you have faith in yourself. So the next time you are in a group, in a discussion, or in a debate, first of all ask yourself, is this important? If yes, then speak, but think carefully. If not, then stop. Because not every time the one who speaks becomes a leader, but the one who speaks less and leaves more impact is the real leader. Chapter 3. Speak less, impact more. Speaking has always been a measure of understanding in our society. If a boy speaks very fluent English in an interview, then people say, "Yaar, how smart he is." But does every person who speaks more also make more impact? Absolutely not. Impact comes from those words which have truth behind them, experience and a thought. Those who speak less but hit the right spot are the ones who go ahead and lead the crowd. Every person has 1,000 stories to tell. But a leader is the one who first understands which story to tell, when, how, and how much. You see, many big leaders of our country do not speak on every small issue. But when they speak, people listen silently. Because there is no shouting in their words, which is there in TV debates. There is wisdom in their words. Sometimes we think that if we speak less, then people will ignore us. But the truth is the opposite. When you speak less and speak after thinking, then people take your words seriously. You change from an ambiguous, half-understood person to a strong communicator. And this becomes a silent power which attracts people towards you. Talking in the Indian context, when you are in a family function and everyone is trying to impress each other by talking more about themselves, those who have nothing to say but listen to others carefully are often more impactful. They are making an impact just by being peaceful and listening. In the debates, our APJ Abdul Kalam ji never yelled and would not speak for hours at end. But whenever he spoke a line, people were fascinated. Even though he lived in simple clothes, but the glow in his eyes and his words used to inspire lakhs of youth within minutes. Without doing much talking, he simply showed us how to be a leader. Now let's talk about showing off. बहुत से लोग अपने वर्ड्स से सिर्फ ये दिखाने की कोशिश करते हैं कि वो कितने बेटर हैं। बोलते हैं ना, फिक्र मत, तुम्हें ज़्यादा स्कीमिंग बताता हूँ। वो अपनी ही तारीफ और अपनी ही बढ़ाई करते रहते हैं। बट असली लीडर तो वो होता है जो किसी भी सिचुएशन में अपने वर्ड से कंट्रीब्यूट करता है, ना कि सिर्फ अपना ज्ञान दिखाता है।
On the other hand, a person is speaking a little less, but with pauses. People start looking at him again and again because we are naturally attracted to people who do not over-explain. It seems that this person has confidence in himself. That is why he is speaking less. Today, when everything is fast, reels, shorts, Insta stories, there the person who gives time to pause with his words, who speaks slowly but reaches the heart, is remembered. Making more impact in less words is a skill that comes with practice, and this is the skill that turns you from a follower to an influencer. It makes you not just a good communicator, but an inspiring leader. So the next time you feel like speaking, take a pause. Think, am I speaking just for the sake of speaking? Or can my every word change something? Because the day you learn to sharpen your words like a weapon, that very day you start influencing people. Chapter 4. Own the room with your words. Have you ever seen a person who enters a room and changes the entire atmosphere without even speaking much? His gait, his presence, and then when he speaks, it feels as if electricity is running through his words. Such an effect does not come from any script or style. It comes from the ownership of one's words. The person who takes responsibility for his every word becomes the master of the room. Many times we speak but speak with fear. Will people judge me? Am I saying something wrong? Is my English good? When you talk about all these questions, fear is reflected in your voice. But a leader is neither ashamed of his words nor timid. Whatever he says with full confidence because he knows why he is speaking. Whether you are in an office meeting or a college presentation, if your voice is trembling, people will not pay attention. But if you speak even simple words with clarity, confidence, and common sense, then people listen and connect. This confidence does not come from fancy English. It comes from the inner self. Imagine a boy who has come from a tier 2 city. His English is a little broken, but when he speaks, there is truth in it. There is intention, and the other person realizes it. This person knows what he is saying. Now there is another person. MBA is English, but no direction in the words. Just pretense. So you tell me, whose words will resonate more? In Indian society where there is judgment on caste, language, accent, if you put your point with honesty, confidence, and clarity, then you rise above that entire system. Your words become your identity, and people do not just listen to you, but start trusting you. Always remember one thing, whenever you speak, that word ask yourself first. Do I stand behind this thing completely? If yes, then speak without fear and without shame. No matter who the other person is, senior, manager, or any powerful person. Because when you take ownership of your words, you take control of the energy of the room. Owning the room does not mean dominating. It means leading with authenticity. And everyone wants to follow an authentic person. Chapter 5. Don't beg to be heard. Have you ever wondered why we sometimes get bogged down in so many words just so that someone notices us? We explain, justify, repeat ourselves again and again, just so that people take us seriously. But the truth is that a leader never begs to be heard. He speaks, and if people don't listen, he becomes silent. Then he puts his energy where he can be heard. Indian youth today lives in a world where everyone craves for validation, be it a post on Instagram or trying to put your point across in the office. Everyone wants their voice to be heard, but this is not earned by asking. It is earned. And how is it earned? When you have so much faith in your words that the yes or no of the other person does not matter. Many times we are afraid. What if I say this and no one pays attention? Or what if my words are cut off? But a true leader knows that it is not necessary to be heard every time. It is important that when he speaks, his words should leave the ground and create waves in the air. Make people think even after a while. See, when you repeatedly explain your feelings in a relationship and the other person ignores you every time, then a time comes when your voice starts sounding heavy on you. On the other hand, an emotionally mature person is the one who knows, I do not have to change my speech now. Change is louder than repeated words. And this principle applies to leadership as well. You have to say what you want to say, not out of compulsion, but with respect. Not repeatedly, but just once, but with full strength and calmness. And if the other person does not listen, then it is his loss, not yours. When you start proving yourself again and again, you reduce the value of your own words. But when you pause and save your energy, people start thinking, what was there in him that he spoke with so much clarity just once and then kept quiet? There is a saying in Indian culture, "Jo gud khaye, wahi kaam ko jaane." It means that it is not necessary to speak every sweet word. Some things leave an impact even without saying much. So the next time you try to impress people with your words, stop and ask, whether am I speaking the truth or asking for approval? Be a leader, not a poor person. From Chapter 6, what scares you? The thing that scares you the most, that very thing has the most strength in you. Each one of us has some things that we want to speak but are afraid. If we say this, will people judge us? Can I tell the truth to my boss? Can I talk to my father about my dreams? The one thing that is hidden behind all these questions is fear of rejection, of shame, or of being broken. But the journey of becoming a leader begins from the point where you face your fear. Start speaking about that which scares you, because that is what forms the bone of your voice. the reed that brings truth and weight to your words. I know we have grown up in a culture where we hear things like, keep quiet, don't make a big deal. Wisdom is in keeping quiet. But silence is wisdom only till it is not breaking you. If there is something inside you that is burning you from within, and you still come in front of people with a smile every day, then that lie will tire your soul one day. A true leader speaks despite fear. He does not think what people will say. He thinks, if I don't say it today, will I regret it for the rest of my life? This question forces him to speak, and this is what makes him different from others. Think for yourself. When a friend once spoke the truth in front of a crowd, when a girl went against her family and spoke about her career, or when a boy stood up to his abusive boss and said enough, what happened then? Everything changed. There was fear, but that fear got expressed and turned into leadership. The biggest problem of Indian youth is not that they have nothing to say.
Rather, it is that they have a lot to say, but they do not have the courage to say it. And this courage begins the day you say what you have been avoiding till now. Sometimes a word. I don't like this, I don't want to say this, I am afraid, I dream this. It can be so powerful that it can change the direction of your life. And this is what leadership is. When you do not bow down to your fear, but mold it into your voice. So make a promise to yourself today. You will say what scares you, because the first step to becoming a leader is to speak your mind despite fear. From the chapter, make people listen without forcing. Listen. Everyone in life wants to make someone listen to us, whether it is a friend, parents, girlfriend, friend or boss. We all want people to take our words seriously, respect us, and understand us immediately. But often it happens that the more we insist, the more the other person ignores us. Why is this so? Because we are speaking but we are not making an impact. And the impact comes only when you say your point with pause, truth and silence, and not by screaming angrily or by explaining again and again. A leader never creates pressure, he creates an atmosphere. Imagine you said something to someone directly and without nervousness and then became silent. That silence has the weight that noise does not have. The other person starts thinking for himself. Why is this person so confident? Why is he not explaining again and again? This pause, this non-desperate tone makes you a leader. In our India, especially in joint family culture or in group discussions, many times people try to get their point across by shouting. But to tell you the truth, the more someone shouts, the more he shows his weakness. A true leader speaks less, but when he speaks, people become silent. There is a magnet in his words, a conviction that naturally attracts the crowd. You do not have to impress people, you have to inspire them. And inspiration never comes by force, it comes from authenticity. When your words come from the heart and not from a script, when honesty is visible in your eyes and not fear, then people automatically listen and then believe. Now the question is, how can you achieve this level? Simple answer. Practice silence, practice depth, practice clarity. When you are in the next argument, in a relationship issue, in an office meeting or in a family discussion, and you feel that the other person is not listening, then you make yourself silent. But that silence should not be fearful. That silence should be of a calm confidence, which says, I have said it, now it is up to you. This non-desperate tone turns you from invisible to unforgettable. Chapter 8. Drop the nice guy voice. Now let's talk about the voice that deceives the most. The nice guy voice. You must have noticed that when we do not want to hurt anyone, when we do not want to disappoint others, or when we have a habit of keeping everyone happy, then a different softness comes in our voice, as if we are apologizing. That voice for our presence which says, please do not misunderstand me, or sorry if my words sounded bad. This is the nice guy voice. This voice looks decent from outside but shows weakness from inside. And it does not just weaken your words, it dilutes your identity itself. A leader does not set out to please everyone. He knows that if he is truthful, some people will be angry. Some people may find his words bitter, but he still says what is right, without that sweet coating. Because to become a leader, you need to be respected, not liked. In India, especially middle-class boys have been taught this since childhood. Don't speak loudly to elders. Don't hurt anyone. Speak lovingly to everyone. And this habit makes our voice so cute when we grow up that it loses all its power. But today, if you want people to see you as a force and not just a friend, then you will have to give up the nice guy voice.
This does not mean that you become conservative. It means that you should speak the truth, speak clearly, and speak strongly, whether the person in front is happy or not. Have you ever noticed people may criticize those who say bitter but true things, but they are not forgotten? On the other hand, no one even remembers the words of those who are busy in making everyone happy. Because a voice without edge never leaves an impact. So now is the time to evolve that voice. Practice in front of the mirror to put your point across in a normal, steady, and firm manner. Slowly, you will yourself feel that the hesitation in your voice, which was making you powerless by making you sound nice every time, is disappearing. A real leader is one whose presence does not give comfort to people but gives them clarity. And clarity does not come without firmness. Chapter 9. Talk like you deserve to be heard. Many times we go to a big room, like an interview, a meeting, in front of a relative, or when we have to talk to a person who seems superior to us. At that time, our voice becomes slow. Words start getting confused. And there's a restlessness inside that whether I am fit here or not. And these rules fail. Because if it is reflected in your words that I am a little small, a little weak, I have come for a short while, then people also start thinking you in the same way. When a true leader speaks, it is not in his voice that I am sorry I do not know much, but it is, I am here and my presence matters. This is not ego, this is the dignity of the soul. In our India 18 today, many youngsters are left behind only because they have killed their inner voice. They thought that my background is small, my English is not good, I am not from any big college, I have nothing to show. But do you really need a degree to stand on a stage, to talk to a big person, or to put your point in a relationship? No. You need self-respect, that belief that no matter which street, village, or house you come from, you are capable of standing anywhere in this world. When you speak with this belief, a depth comes in your voice. That hurry disappears. Begging for words stops. Then you speak less, but every sentence leaves fire. Your face may be ordinary, but there is so much self-confidence in your words that the person in front thinks that this person is made to stay where he is standing. Chapter 10. Make silence your power. It is not necessary to speak much. The real power is seen when you say a lot even without speaking. A true leader knows that silence is more effective than words. When you are silent, your eyes, your presence, and your being say everything. Now just imagine when someone is shouting a lot and you are just standing quietly and looking into his eyes without fear, without bowing down. What is the effect of that silence? He becomes silent.
Why? Because your silence hurt more than his scream. Nowadays, people are busy speaking everywhere, on social media, in relationships, in every conversation. But those who listen, pause, and then speak are the ones who are heard the most. You do not need to react all the time. You do not need to answer everything immediately. You do not have to try to convince every person. Just be quiet, watch, understand, and when you speak, it feels as if time has stopped. This is what the great leaders of our country did. Gandhiji did not speak much, but when he spoke, the whole country would shake. Why? Because he used to think for a long time before every word. They used to speak from within, and their silence was as heavy as their voice. Today you can also learn the same. When someone insults you, keep quiet. When someone provokes you, keep quiet. When someone takes you lightly, smile, but without words, because your silence can become the biggest proof of your existence. Conclusion. If you have truly experienced this entire journey, then now your voice is not the same as it was before. Now there is no hesitation in it, there is confidence. Now there is no pretense in it, there is truth. Now you are not that person who was lost in the crowd. Now you have become the one who can speak his mind even while standing in the crowd, without fear, without bowing down. Remember, speaking is not just the work of the tongue, it is the testimony of the soul. Your words have only that effect which is in your passion. If there is fire in your heart, then your voice can give light to people. But if even today you will remain silent out of fear or thinking what people will say, then one day those same people will consider your silence as your weakness. Not everyone gets a listener in life. So whenever you get a platform, big or small, speak up. Speak up for yourself, speak up for others, and speak up for a tomorrow that can be made better by your words. Today you learned how to speak clearly, truthfully, in a way that people don't just hear, they feel. Now it's time to live that lesson. Go out and don't let your voice be just yours. Make it a path that brightens the lives of others. And if there's still something left in your heart, see you in the next story, where we'll talk about the power of the mind and the art of staying focused. Move on, because you're not the same person you were in the beginning.